All right, let's take a look at the next thing we'll do for chords. So this is your second inversion. Second inversion goes 5, 1, 3. 5, 1, 3. In fact, I should put that up here. All right, so second inversion equals 5, 1, 3. So the root note is now in the middle of the chord. The bass note is the fifth interval. And these work very well with distortion, I feel. It's a great way of making chords sound deeper than they really are. So whenever you put the fifth interval in the base of the chord, below that root note, it can really beef things up a lot. So just run through what's already there, get familiar with how things look, because just like any other chord shapes we do, they're movable. Anytime you start these shapes just like a power chord or any of the other chord shapes you've done, starting on the D, E, and A string, they'll look exactly the same. It's only when the B string gets involved, then you gotta change the shape a little bit, but the notes still remain the same. So you C over G. So yeah, just pay attention to how those look. So in this chord, I mean, most of these are always going to be like stacking the first two notes in the chord up. So you see you got the 8 and 8 for the first chord, 10 and 10, 12 and 12, 13 and 13, 1 and 1, 3 and 3, 5 and 5. The diminished is the only one where it's not going to have the same two frets right away. So just something to keep in mind there when you're doing these chords, at least for beginning on the B, E, A, and D strings. I'm not giving anything else away. So just paying attention to stuff like that can be very, very helpful. So with these, again, you got the 2 8th frets being used, or the 8th fret being used twice, and then you can see right there, you have that major third distance being used, which is the first part of that major chord right there. So C over G, G over D minor over A, there's your E minor over B, F major over C, high octave in open position, G over D, A minor over E, and B diminished over an F. So, just like we've done before, next thing to do, take all that stuff, move it up to the next string, write it all out again. Roman numerals are there to tell you what comes next. Be careful of when the Roman numeral happens twice, because we're going to do those in two different positions, the high octave and the low octave. Alright, so moving on. Alright, so this is continuing on with really polishing up that. Got to get the B and G string pattern memorized. So spend some time improvising with just those two strings. That'll really, really help you. Alright, and that was already done. Okay, this guy, talking about this. So yeah, we'll definitely get into finger tapping stuff. I don't know if we've talked about it at all, but we certainly can. Certainly should. Sweep picking too. Bends as well if you have any bend questions, but I think you feel pretty confident with that, but we can always go over that in more detail if you'd like, if you feel you could use the help there. So with this guy, now as I suggested yesterday, if 104 beats per minute is the goal speed for this whole thing, and you're unable to get this part up to speed in the first practice session, you're not even hitting the 120 for sure. So that means you're not ready for the 16th note version. We got to do 8th notes instead. So there's also more you can do here. You got two bars that are very similar. So you can do this where you start with playing the eighth note way first. So let's go over that. Switch this back over. I should probably go through this first before doing the metronome with it. So we got... So I'm definitely doing some sweep stuff there. It's like down, up, down, up, up. Down, up, down, up, up. So just in case you're not doing that yet, let's put in some pick direction here. And I'll talk you through what I'm doing so you can do it on yours. And this way you know how, in case you don't yet. You're going to hit shift, or hold shift and hit the letter D for the downstroke. And then shift plus U for up. So that's fairly easy one to remember. D for down, U for up. Just hold the shift key first. So yes, we're going down, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, up. Let me go through that again. So down, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down. So there we're just doing alternate picking. And then same idea here. Down, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down. All right. So picking it that way, first try through it, feels natural, feels pretty efficient, feels efficient. All right, so the eighth note way, and just like two notes a click. One and da, 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 da. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was right. Hang on, let me go through it again before I hit the metronome. Okay, that feels so weird. I think it feels weird because of like some of the downstrokes are happening where an upstroke would normally be. Yeah, all right, anyway, start again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you work that up. To at least, you want to shoot for, well, my thing is always shoot for at least 240 with an 8th note pattern before you move on to 16th notes. So if you get 240 with 8th notes, then this should be no problem because that's definitely faster. Definitely faster than what you need for this lick or riff. So if you get the 8th note version to at least 220, you should be okay, but definitely push it further. Push it as far as you can, really. The faster you can play this, the easier it'll be to do the whole thing, right? Anyway, let's try it at 120, see if I can. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Try 160. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oof, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 180. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my god. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. $200. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Damn it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Well, close. All right. Anyway. So yeah, if I would want to. I swear I cannot talk some days. If I was to work this thing up for my own, I would go in 5s for sure. I wouldn't be jumping up as fast as I was just then, but I was doing that just to show it at some different speeds in case that helps. So let's say doing it the highlighted way is still too much. And so you're just not getting where you want to be speed-wise. Do only one bar at a time. Get that up by itself. And get this up by itself. And then put them both together. If that's still too difficult, then you're going to do this. One piece at a time. So basically, I'm looking at this as like a beat-to-beat thing. As the 16th notes, but you're still going to play it like 8th notes. So basically like a 1 and 2 and 3, like that. And you work that up by itself and get that up to speed. And then you work this up to speed. You notice I'm going a beat plus a note. That's because we want to end even the little short things on that downbeat. Okay? It's much easier to keep good timing when you're ending something when that metronome clicks. So that's important. Very, very helpful. Then once you got that up to speed, to work on this little bit here. But because there's so little left, you might want to just add that in too. Or get this up to speed and then the rest. Or that up to speed and then that part. So basically just break it down into smaller and smaller pieces if you have to. So when I'm doing, or figuring out difficult things or trying to get really difficult things up to speed, if we'll say the full version, like these 2 bars here, if the full version's too difficult, I'll like split it in half, or like I suggested, take the 16th note pattern and turn it into an 8th note pattern. In fact, you can turn it into a quarter note pattern if need be. That's fine too. You can always just decrease the amount of notes per click that you're working on. That's definitely a good strategy. Sometimes it's the best strategy. So that's always a good option to start with. Decrease the amount of notes you're playing per click. Or in this case, because again, you can't get the 16th note pattern up to speed in your first practice session, you need to work on 8th notes. Now, after a few sessions of doing it 8th notes, if you're still not able to get it up to speed, you can change it to 1 note per click. I know, 1 note per click, it's like, damn, that's slow. But it can really, really pay off. It can really pay off. Sometimes having the extra steps makes it easier to get through the whole thing. It really can help. Having the patience to do it is a huge thing to work with. I am guilty of this. Recently, working on something for a Patreon lesson I'm going to do, I was impatient And I was very frustrated that I could not get this lick up to speed in the time that I wanted. But I just I had to suck it up. Like, well, this is just the process. I can't do it up to speed yet, so I just had to go through, all the necessary steps to get it up there. And eventually, I finally got it. Got to record it either today or tomorrow. Hopefully, I do have it well enough to make a lesson out of it. But anyway, patience is a big part of this. So yeah. So if you're having a hard time after, say, a few days, you're just not getting. You're stuck at the same speed for a few days, 3 days. Go ahead and try doing either one note a click or just break it up into smaller pieces. Do 1 bar at a time or go beat to beat at a time. So hopefully all that makes sense. Just give that a shot this week. See how it goes for you. We'll check in on it next time. And any questions, let me know. All right. See you next week.